Hello everyone, it's story time. Our story today is about Fish is Fish by Leo Lionni. At the edge of the woods there was a pond, and there a minnow and a tadpole swam among the weeds. They were inseparable friends. Do you know what's a minnow? A minnow here is a small fish that lives in the fresh water. And this is the tadpole. A tadpole is a baby frog. And do you know what inseparable means? That means they're really good friends. They like to play together. They don't want to be separated. They want to stay together. And that's what they do in the pond. One morning, the tadpole discovered that during the night he had grown 2 little legs. "Look!" he said triumphantly. "Look, I am a frog!" "Nonsense," said the minnow. How could you be a frog if only last night you were a little fish just like me?" They argued and argued until finally the tadpole said, "Frogs are frogs and fish are fish. And that's that." In the weeks that followed, the tadpole grew tiny front legs, and his tail got smaller and smaller. And then one day, a real frog now, he climbed out of the water and onto the grassy bank. The minnow, too, had grown and had become a full-fledged fish. He often wondered where his 4-footed friend had gone. But days and weeks went by, and the frog did not return. Then one day, with a happy splash that shook the weeds, the frog jumped into the pond. "Where have you been?" asked the fish excitedly. "I have been about the world, hopping here and there," said the frog, "and I have seen extraordinary things." "Like what?" asked the fish. "Birds," said the frog mysteriously. "Birds." And he told the fish about the birds who had wings and 2 legs and many colors. As the frog talked, his friend saw the birds fly through his mind like large feathered fish. "What else?" asked the fish impatiently. Do you see the birds that's in the mind of the fish? It's a fish bird. "Cows," said the frog. "Cows, they have 4 legs, horns, eat grass, and carry pink bags of milk." said the frog. "And people," said the frog. "Men, women, children." And he talked and talked until it was dark in the pond. But the picture in the fish's mind was full of lights and colors and marvelous things. He couldn't sleep. If he could only jump about like his friend and see that wonderful world. fish wanted to get out of the water just like the frog so he could see those wonderful things that the frog could see. Here are the beautiful and marvelous things that the frog could see and the fish wanted to see as well. And so the days went by. The frog had gone and the fish just lay there dreaming about birds in flight, grazing cows, and those strange animals all dressed up, and his friend called people. One day, he finally decided that come what may, he too must see them. And so with a mighty whack of the tail, he jumped clear out of the water onto the bank. He landed in the dry, warm grass, and there he lay gasping for air, unable to breathe or to move. Help! Help! He groaned feebly. Luckily, the frog, who had been hunting butterflies nearby, saw him and with all his strength pushed him back into the pond. Still stunned, the fish floated about for an instant. Then he breathed deeply, letting the clean, cool water run through his gills. Now he felt weightless again, and with an ever so slight motion of the tail, he could move to and fro, up and down as before. The sun rays reached down within the weeds and gently shifted patches of luminous color. The world was surely the most beautiful of all worlds. He smiled as his friend the frog, who sat watching him from a lily leaf. "You were right," he said. "Fish is fish," said the fish. So why do you think fish is gasping for breath or air when he was in the bank of the pond? Why do you think? Right, because fish couldn't breathe without water. That's right. So fish should live in the water. Very good. That's their habitat. That's where they should live. That's right. And frogs, what about frogs? Yep, frogs can live on land and in water. That's right. It's so special for the frogs. They can live on land and in water, right? So fish stays in the water. If you take the fish out, what's gonna happen? Yeah. So how are we going to take care of the fish? How can we take care of the environment or the habitat of the fish? What do we have to do as people? All right. Yes, we have to take care of it by not throwing rubbish in the water. That's right. So I hope you enjoyed this story. Bye.